Good morning and welcome to Great Games Computer Learning Videos. This is the 6th video in the HTML5 Canvas video series. Today we'll be working with Tutorial 6, Drawing Circles. So let's get started. To begin with, I've got 3 panels opened on my desktop. The one on the left is my Notepad++ editor. And this is where I will be building the HTML file. And within that HTML file, I'm going to also have CSS and JavaScript, and I'll be working with the Canvas element of HTML. On the left-hand side, I have 2 browsers open, 2 instances of a browser. My top one is displaying the finished project. So this is what we want to build. The one down below is showing my current file, what it would look like inside of a browser. So there's really nothing in here and nothing displayed on my page. So to begin with, let's click inside the browser, and I'm going to go ahead and type in my HTML tags first to get my document marked up, and then I will come back and fill it in with some other formatting and text and drawing items in just a moment. So let's start with our HTML tags. First thing I want to do is define my document type, which is going to be HTML, and I will put my HTML tag, so my open HTML tag and my close HTML tag. Now inside those HTML tags I have 2 basic sections, a head section and a body section, so let me put those in. Make sure that you have those typed correctly. A way that you can easily check is by clicking on the tag. And if it's closed, if the open and closed tags light up in like a pink or a purple, that's a good indication that they're probably typed correctly. Okay? So the matching pairs should line up for you. Okay, going into the head section, I want to put a title on this here page. So I'm going to put title and my close title tag, and I also want a style section. Okay, and those are both in the head section of this document. Coming down into the body section, I want to add some title and subtitle using the header level tags. So I want to use H1 tags for my title, and I'm going to use H3 tags for my subtitle. And then I also want to add a couple other things here. My canvas, my script, and I'm going to close off with my HTML tag for my header level 4 tag is what I should say. So I'm going to put my H4 and my close H4. Okay, so we have something that's set up like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug in some of the text real quick. Going into the title area, I'm going to click between the title area and put Tutorial 6. I'm going to copy that Tutorial 6. I'm going to paste it into the H1. Now the head section where it says title, this here is what's displayed on the tab of your HTML document when it's in the browser. So as the browser loads it, you should see it on your tab here. This down below, H1, this is in the body section, and the stuff that's in the body section is what usually appears on the page itself. So this is my Tutorial 6 down below. Now for a subtitle, I'm going to call this Drawing Circles. And I will put my copyright information in here. Okay. Now, you notice that it wrapped onto the next line. Don't worry about the wrapping. Keep it on one line. You notice that this line 13 has a blank area below it because this is all one line, do not press enter and force this onto the next line. Okay? Alright, the next thing we need to do is probably, let's go ahead and save it. Okay, and as we view it in the browser, I'll refresh the browser. We see it down below. Everything's on the left. There's really no formatting. The text is hard to read, so we're going to fix this all up so it'll be nice and easy for us to see on the page. This looks so much neater than this down here. Okay, so let's go back into our head section. We're going to add some things under the style area. So I'm going to click between the open and close tags, press enter a couple times, and I'm going to go in between those two and start off by formatting my body element. Okay, now my body element is this element here, so anything that's on the page is going to be formatted with this body tag that I'm going to be modifying. So we're going to go ahead and do the body. First thing I want to do is change the font color. So I'm going to put color. I want this to be white. I'm going to also change the background color. And I want this to be blue. And because I'm looking for a very specific blue, I'm not going to use the generic name blue in here like I did with white. I'm going to actually use a hexadecimal number that gives me an exact blue that I'm looking for. So I'm going to use a pound sign or a hashtag 4D7AFF and end it with a semicolon. I'm going to also specify a font. So I'm going to use font family, colon. Inside quotes, I'm going to put Century Gothic. Close quote, close semicolon. Okay, you noticed on mine it wrapped. That's still okay. Keep yours on one line. Notice that this 9 has an open area below it, so it's still showing it's all on one line. Do not press return to force that on another line. Okay. Okay, the next line down though, we're going to go ahead and specify how we want this text to be aligned on the page. So I'm going to put text dash align colon, and I want it to all be centered on the page. So I'm going to put center semicolon close curly brace. Alright, now I'm going to also format the canvas element. So down below we have this canvas element here. We're going to do a little bit of formatting up here for this element. So I will put canvas open curly brace. The only thing I'm going to do to it is specify white as my background color. So I'll put background dash color colon and just use the default name white for my background color. Okay. Make sure that you also end that statement with a closed semi-curly brace there. Not a semicolon and a curly brace. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this line 13. There's nothing there. And that takes care of my formatting for my document. I formatted the body section and the canvas item. Now, going down inside the body area, I'm going to do some more formatting to this canvas area. First thing I want to do is click in between the open and closed canvas tags. Press enter twice. And then in between those two, I'm just going to put a little note here to update browser. And what that basically does is if a user happens to have an older browser on their computer that does not support Canvas, it displays this update browser instead of creating an error. It does not load the canvas. The user will not see this drawing area here. If the browser on the person's computer is up to date and it supports Canvas, this is ignored. Update browser is ignored, and it displays the Canvas area with the drawings as it's doing on this page. Okay. Now, inside the Canvas open tag, I want to add a couple more things here. I want to give this here a name, so I'm going to use the ID attribute to do that. It's going to be called My Canvas, and that's with a capital C. I'm going to specify a width. Okay, the width of this particular one is going to be 350. So in quotes, I'm going to put 350. And the height is going to be 200. Okay. The default size of the canvas, by the way, is 300 for the width and 150 for the height. So I'm making it slightly bigger for this project. It'll be a little bit easier to see as we display it in this video. Okay, that takes care of the canvas. The last thing we need to do on this page now is the script area, and this is where we're adding the JavaScript code. So I'm going to click in between script and close script, press enter twice, and I'll go up in between, tab over, and I'm going to identify a couple of variables. So my first variable is going to be called canvas, and I'm going to call this document.getElementsById. And then in open and close parentheses, I want to pass a string using the quote signs. And the name that we gave this canvas was My Canvas. Okay. Make sure that you have the C capitalized in My Canvas, and that you also have the open and close quotes around it, and then you end your statement with a semicolon. Okay. If it's wrapped around on yours like it did on my in my editor, don't worry about it. It's all on one line. If you click on line 23 for mine, you see that it's blank for the next two lines here. 24 actually starts script. It's wrapping around in the editor, but that's not a problem. Just do not press enter to force it to the next line. Okay. All right, the next thing I want to do is put in a variable here called context. And this is going to be equal to the canvas that we just created. And that canvas that we just created has a method associated with it called getContext. So we're going to put getContext. Remember that it has a capital C in it. And then inside the quotes, we're going to put 2D. That's a lowercase d. And then make sure that you have the open and close quotes around the 2D, and that you have the open and close parentheses around that. And then you're going to end it with the semicolon. Okay? So all of your JavaScript tags are ended with a semicolon. All of your CSS tags or code is ended with a semicolon. Okay? All right, let's come down a couple lines from there. And as we come down a couple lines, we're going to first draw the small circle. So if we go back to our document here, we have a small circle. This small circle is going to have a radius of 10. Okay, so you can see it right in here. The next one has a radius of 30, and the outside one has a radius of 50. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at as we build these circles. So I'm going to go ahead and make a comment here. I'm going to say small circle. And we're going to begin with our path. So let's go ahead and create that. I'm going to say context dot and then begin path. And I will put context dot stroke to end that path. Okay, so we've began the path, we've ended the path, we have nothing inside here, so we need to get that first circle going. To do that, we're going to call context. We're going to use a method called arc, just like that. Okay, so context.arc, open close parenthesis. Now inside here we have to pass some information to it. We want to pass, the first two items we want to pass are the X and Y location. and this is going to refer to the center of this particular circle. So we said the document here was 350 by 200. And so 350, if we take that and divide it by 2, we get 175. So if we go halfway over, the center of the circle will be 175. And if we look at this here, the height is 200. We want this right in the middle, so it would be at 100. And we said we wanted a radius on this of 10. So to do this, we're going to click inside the arc. We're going to pass these here as parameters. 175 is our x value, the center of the circle. 100 is the y value in the center of the circle. We wanted a radius of 10 on here. And then we're going to add a couple more items on here. We're going to add 0, which is going to be the starting point of this circle or arc that we're drawing. And then the second value is going to be how big we want this arc to be, and we want it to be 360 degrees. So we want it to go all the way around to make a complete circle. And in order to do that, it's going to be using a math formula to calculate that. So to start with, we're going to put 0. That's the starting point of where the arc is going to be drawn. And we want this to be drawn to 2 times pi. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to put a 2, an asterisk, which is like a multiplication sign, and then math.pi. Pi is capitalized P-I. P and I are both capitalized there. Close parenthesis and a semicolon at the end. Okay? If it wraps on you, that's okay. Just don't force any thing on the next line, so don't press enter, and make sure that you have commas in between each one of these items. So we should have an x value, which is a center in the x-axis. We have a y value, which is a center in the y-axis. We have a radius, which here we defined as 10. We have a beginning point of the arc, which is going to create a circle, and we want it to draw 360 degrees, which is basically 2 radians, so it's going to be 2 times math.pi. So let's save this, take a look at it, and we'll refresh this. It should apply all the new formatting that we've added. So we've got the blue background, the white text, we've got the circle in the middle, and everything is looking good. So let's go ahead and add the other circles. And to do that, I'm going to go back over to my code, and I'm going to click on the 26 and drag down to the 29. So I select the small circle. I'm going to press Control C, which copies that to the clipboard. If I press Control V one time, it pastes over top of what we just had, so there's no change. But if I hit Control V again and Control V one more time, it draws, it actually copies the code for the medium and large circle. So I have the small, the medium, and the large circle here. And I'm going to put a space in between these so they're a little bit easier to see. And the only thing we're doing different with the medium and large is changing the radius. I'm still keeping the same center point. They all have the same center point. And they're all drawing the same arc, a 360 degree arc, which completes a full circle. So I'm going to go to the radius of the medium one. We're going to change this here to a 30. And I'm going to go down to the radius of the large one, and we're going to change this here to a 50. And that should give me my 3 circles, just like the target shown above, or the picture shown above. So I'm going to save this, refresh this drawing down below, and I now see that I have 2 identical projects. We just completed this first project here, which is identical to the master that we saw up above. Alright, that completes this video. I know that I may have gone through it fairly quickly. You're welcome to go back and review it as often as necessary. Make sure that you pause it when you need to so that you get as much information out of this video as you can. Well, thank you for joining me today. You take care and have a great day.